All right, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. I just noticed as I went through the um putting up the intro clip that um all of a sudden I had no audio, and so hopefully you're hearing me. Um as it is right now, it's just me. I did build this as free game night in which I would be sharing some free game. I kind of shared some free game in my most recent Gig Geezer segment, which was on um, the delivery process. In fact, I'm going to show that now as we speak. Um, Videos, and if you see here, this one here about proof of delivery, and that was from that was a suggestion from an actual subscriber and viewer of the channel. In fact, he participated in last week's I'm Speaking. I spoke with him. So I figured that I would try to be a little more service to folk. Um, it's not so much as I'm giving answers to the ans- I'm giving answers to the test, and then again, I'm not giving answers to the test. But what I'm also doing is hopefully pointing you in the right direction. So what I want to do is get right into the free game, and um, in fact, I've just noticed my screen freezing on me as we speak now. Oh, yeah, the screen has been freezing on me, as with other folk who subscribe to StreamYard, which is the platform on which this live stream is being presented. And so I'm wondering if it's something with me personally, but no, it's got to be the server. There's more people that's on this platform, meaning that they're going to have to increase their bandwidth in order the to accommodate things. So anyway, what I was going to do was start off with some latest information out there in the transportation world, because I mean, I think sometimes we're not really true I want to say true students of of what we do. And this is just one facet of delivery and transport, but it makes sense if you understand where I'm going with this. So anyway, let me get right into this. Oh boy. Okay, there we go. All right, so it's up on the screen now. It should be up on the screen. Yeah, there we go. And so what I'm gonna be doing is reading from this so that you can get where I'm going with this. Hey everyone, I'm kind of doing this. I'm kind of doing this on the fly. Driving with Ty, my man. Hey, first time, Washington D.C. area. The hire, salute. Thanks for coming through. But anyway, what I was gonna do was read from this article that's from Playbook, and it talks about the freight market is going through a shakeup, and if you're a small carrier, you're feeling it. Yeah, maybe, maybe not. Rates aren't what they were even a month ago, and the numbers don't lie. Spot and contract rates are trending downward. Projected rates are staying low, and overall freight volume is slipping. Freight demand overall is down 6.5% month over month. So that means it's supposedly down 6.5% from January. And fuel costs have risen 6 cents per gallon over the same period. So that means for every 10 gallons that you put on fan, 60 cents more is what you're paying. And depending on your vehicle, like with my van, that would translate into about $1.50 more at the tank. Although here in South Carolina, I actually saw gas go down depending on where you go, about 10 cents. But anyway, it says that means there are fewer loads available, which I would agree. But the cost to run those loads is creeping up. With fewer shipments moving and too many trucks chasing the same freight, brokers and shippers have the upper hand, which keeps rates low and makes it harder for small carriers to turn a profit. There is truth to that because it's a matter of supply and demand. If there's more If there's more supply than demand, guess what? That means they have the upper hand. That's right. So, what I was going to do is I'm going to also throw out there the link to joining the damn conversation. Um, so if you want to join the conversation, feel free as well. That's why I have this as a free game night because hey, sometimes what I provide may not be free enough. Maybe you need to hear from me at least or interact with me one on one to get what hopefully get what you're looking for. But anyway, I'm going to go back into this article. They were talking about just spot market rate, the van spot rate per mile. So this is for the big 53 foot the tractor trailers who negotiate for opportunities through the load boards and all. They're saying in December the rate per mile average was $2.44. It went up slightly to $2.50, and now as of earlier this week, it's down to $2.33 a mile. Well, personally, I've not booked a load like that in a long time. It's been a long time since I booked a load like that. Extreme Picks, hey there, SB, my man. Thanks for coming through here. Again, if you want to join the damn conversation with me, click that link, and I'll bring you in. I know some folk can be camera shy, but that's okay. Um, Truth be said, when it comes to me taking pictures, I don't like taking pictures, so I'll try to run and hide first opportunity. Um, other information out there. Spot market. Well, what I was going to do is also give you some running definitions about spot rates or spot market. Um, Let me pull this up on the screen so that you can see it for yourself. Um, Oops. All right. So what I was going to do is read that. A lot of this stuff you can actually search for yourself, but not everybody searches for things for themselves. What is a spot rate in trucking? It is sometimes called a spot quote. It is a one-time fee that a shipper pays to move a load or shipment at current freight market pricing. So that's where got a broker who has these supposedly this network of contacts with people who are looking to have something moved. And so spot rates are a form of short-term transactional freight pricing that reflects the real-time balance of carrier supply and shipper demand in the market. So that's the $5 explanation. But in everyday terms, you go on a load board, you see something comes up, you see something come up, the broker puts a rate on it, and then damn it, I hate this. All right. So what's going on? I don't think that this is my computer. This is definitely the this is definitely the StreamYard. Um, this is definitely the StreamYard server that's doing this. But anyway, I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna read. So anyway, what I was saying about with the spot rate is that so the broker or the shipper puts something out to the brokers. Um, Shippers know where to put their information out. The broker puts in a bid for it, and then the broker gets the bid based on what they're getting from us drivers. At least that's my understanding. If I'm wrong, somebody please correct me. But when we see a rate that comes out, that is in part based on what they negotiated to get. So they already know how much. So if they negotiated $500 to move something, they put it out for $100. Well, they already They're already $400 in the good. So now it's up to a driver to try to get as much money as they can. Now, this is actually good. This is actually a good time to throw something to interject an actual experience that happened to me last week. Now, while I put out there on the most recent Gig Geezer segment about the proof of delivery, and I mentioned about a run from Lugoff, South Carolina to Lugoff, South Carolina. It was literally right down the road, less than 3 miles, and I agreed to a rate of $150. Easy, easy fucking money. But earlier that morning, I put in for a run that was going from Lexington, South Carolina, which is like at the far, well, basically if you're going towards from Columbia to Atlanta, Georgia, you're gonna leave Columbia and drive through Lexington to get there. So from Lexington, South Carolina to Spartanburg, South Carolina, which is on the other side of the state along I-85, which by the way is another way to get to Atlanta. So that's a 100-mile drive, and I put in for $325. That's normally what I'm going to put in for that distance, somewhere between $350, and depending on what it is, I may go up to $400. And I've gotten brokered opportunities for that type of money. Well, the broker responded telling me that, oh, that's way too high. That's way too high. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to go for that shit this time. Usually I'll ignore what a broker may respond, but I told him, what you want are people to pay you to move your freight. That's what I told him. So what affects then? So the broker probably was looking for somebody to get that for maybe about 150, at best $175. And you got people that would jump all on it. It happens all the time. But I didn't go for it. I didn't go for it because I felt that no, that run should pay more. And then he eventually sends me an email telling me that, you know what, you had the fourth highest bid. I think I'll stick with what I'm doing. So what the fuck? Because no less than 10 minutes after the guy told me that I bid way too high for his load, um, that's where I got to run from Lugoff, South Carolina, to Lugoff South up in Lugoff, South Carolina, which is like 15 minutes from my house. So who won? In that respect, the broker won. At least this is the way it's explained to me. The broker won because he got his cheap freight moved. But I won, at least for the sake of my business opportunities, because hey, I only had to drive basic to the house and then move something 3 miles for $150, and somebody else probably drove 100 miles for the same amount. Hell yeah, tell them the truth. They're not paying you to run their freight. My man, here's the guy. Here's the guy who gave me the idea to do my most recent uh Gig Geezer upload. Art Rig CH83. Thanks for coming through here. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put that invite out there again. If you want to join the damn conversation with me this way, feel free to jump in. But let's see here. Let's move on to what I had here next. So there are some other talk of, now, you know what? I did this came out, what I'm about to show you is from 2012. And I can tell you in 2012, I was writing books. I was writing books, literally. Um, in fact, in fact, I wrote two books within a span of 6 weeks, and I was working on the third book at another point. But 2012, this was nowhere near what I was thinking. But if you see here, someone in a Reddit or Reddit board said that $1 to $1.20 a mile is the average all-in rate for a sprinter slash cargo van opportunity. Now, we've got folk who talk of dollar a mile in 2025. What you're seeing here is that the market really hasn't changed if, based on this for at least 10 years. You would think that it would get better. Extreme Picks, man. I just noticed you there. Thanks for coming through here. Extreme Picks, my man SB, driving with Ty, who's got a channel. Ty, man, you know what? If you're hanging around, I'm gonna try to email you. I'd like for you to be a guest of mine here on I'm Speaking. Um, I'm gonna reach out to you. Hopefully, if your email address is accessible, and send you an invitation. But yeah, dollar to $1.20 mile. That's 2012. So, you know, I don't I don't have an answer for why um rates are where they are, but obviously we can affect, us drivers can affect the rates. I don't know how much, but we can affect them. So that's why when I hear people talk about dollar a mile, I don't listen to them. I mean, they're shit, man. I mean, I start thinking about how much it's going to cost me, and a good way of thinking about it is like this example what I just gave with the broker who told me, oh, I was too, I my bid was too high. So let's say if a person did do that for a buck 50, and they were empty when they got the run out of Lexington. So you got a van, and let's say you were at least you're less than half full. It probably costs about $65 to $70 to fill up your tank based on current gas prices. And so let's say 60% of 65 is $39. So you spent $39 to move freight. Let's say $40, round it off. You spent $40 out of 150. That's basically paying someone to move their freight. Now, I'm going to pull up my calculator here. This is something I'm just doing off the fly though, but there's I have some load board opportunities that I do in my there's some load board opportunities that I have done on a regular lately. Um, and when I do factor in my gas, and let's say if I get a run for 425, no, let's say for $325, and I put in gas where I'm just bone empty, and I spent $70. Okay, so that leaves me with 255. This is one way of how I think about my profitability on a run. Um, so that means 78% of that money is profit. So I can deal with that because I know that at least one way of thinking is that 70 I am keeping, or what's going to profit is at least 75% of what I agreed upon. That's just one thing that I do for quick calculations or math. But I know that people talk about cost per mile. Um, I get that. I mean, I've done a video on that. Um, but I'm always thinking about what works, what doesn't work. Do I know any good fair brokers that will work with new authorities? I leased on with a broker, and they have been pretty shitty so far. Most of them are. um, mm, do I know of any good fair brokers? I'm going to give you an honest answer in that I don't keep brokers in a Rolodex. I just don't. I just don't. The brokers whom I dealt with 2 years ago, I don't do many runs for them in 2025, so I can't give you an honest answer. I did experience the rejections that you're talking about in 2023, in that um, this time of the year I was not yet eligible. Um, Yeah, this time of the year, I was not eligible in 2023. And I heard them tell a lot of them were telling me 6 months. Some of them told me 90 days. But I did get on. I did get my first opportunity in between 60 and 90 days, and that kind of got the ball rolling. Um, but I again, the folk that I dealt with 2 years ago, they're not. I just don't do any business with them. I know people keep asking about, do I know any brokers, man? See, here's how I do things. Here's how I have done things. I have subscribed to load boards, particularly everybody deals with DAT, and then there's Selectus, and I know that there's money involved when you deal with Selectus, um, and Selectus, and it's all based. The only thing, the unfortunate thing about it is that if you're looking to do over the road, you got to have more than just a couple of load boards, and I get that. And so that's where you want to develop the relationship with brokers. I did build a relationship with one broker in late 2023, and I pretty much did a lot of stuff for them for almost a year, but they've not contacted me in 2025. And I reached out to them once in 2000. I reached out to them once, and I got no reply. So I'm like, okay, I need to keep doing what I'm doing. And so that's my answer. I know it's a long answer though, but I'm just giving you an honest answer there. Um, let's see here. What was I gonna go with? All right. So the next thing that I was gonna go over is someone had oh man, I know what it was. I My man, Mr. Sydney. How's SJ? How is SJ? My man, he is Mr. Baruka. At least that's his name there. Using his YouTube handle. He's in Columbia, South Carolina, and we met in the parking lot of a Lowe's, and he comes up to me. You're Get Geezer. Oh man, I've been checking out your channel. And the last time I saw him, I think of the last time I saw him, I think his son had just gotten a haircut. So that's been a while, but I'm certain that he's had a few haircuts since then. A Train, that's my problem right now. I get zero replies. So if I got to hang up the hat, I'll do it for a while and come back to it later. Um, so you're getting zero reply. Okay, yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, the problem with these brokers is that they're looking for the cheapest run. Everybody's looking for the cheapest run. I will say though, when I did have the when I was running stuff for that one particular broker, I didn't realize how the rates that I was sharing with y'all that I was doing, running them for over $2 a mile. I didn't realize that a lot of people weren't. I knew that people weren't really pulling that type of money, but I also didn't know that I was pulling money that was higher in many cases better than what box trucks are doing. So that's I guess I happen to have a good run with that particular broker. Again, I've not had any contact with those folks. They don't call me anymore. The cool thing about it was, in fact, if I saw something on the load board, it was at one point I was able to get them to pull it off because I'd call them up and say, hey, is this run still open? And then I tell them, and they're like, okay, we know who you are. What's your rate? And they'd run it by, and okay, we'll send you the rate confirmation sheet. Not anymore. Doesn't work. It doesn't work anymore. I think they found somebody who's cheaper, way cheaper. But I was going to do this. I was going to go over. There was a video that I did on how to get your MC number and USDOT number. But someone had asked me about a form MCS 150. And the reason why I'm gonna kind of go through this is because when you when you get your authority, you likely to be bombarded or deluged by people who are trying to get you to pay them to handle your paperwork. and they'll tell you how if you don't fill out the paperwork right, it could spell trouble when you're dealing with the USDOT and FMCSA. And I paid for that service for a year. I didn't renew. And so what ended up happening, well, what I found out is that a lot of this stuff that they were kind of scaring me into thinking that somebody else needed to handle, I could do it myself. So this here is a MCS 150 form. When you apply for your authority, this is a form that you're going to fill out. I'm going through is this is something that you fill out. This is the paper form MCS 150, and it says new application for US DOT number. Oh, in fact, this is what you apply for your DOT number. So you'll put in for new application, or if you're updating some, or it says you may have biennial update or changes, you're supposed to fill it out if there's any changes with your business operation. So you put in your business name, DBA. So if you have a corporate name, but you have another name that people recognize, you'll use that. Yes, that's right, A-Train. That's right. This is what you meant in that video when you said this is meant to scare the bejesus out of you to pay for their services. That's right. So I am this now. If you're talking about free game, this is true free game here. Me showing you the MCS 150 form. So you've got that principal place of business. You put in your business address, whatever that is. For me, I've shared that I have an office that I rent in downtown Columbia. I use it for both my insurance agency and for this. I do have a separate mailing address, which is a P.O. box. And then the contact numbers are what you're going to put there. ID numbers, there's a line for DOT number, MC number. It says MX, that's your Mexico number. Dun and Bradstreet is something else that you can register to get. And then your EIN number, IRS tax ID number. Email address. Carrier mileage is the miles that you drove the previous year. Let's see. DFW, that's right. Been trying to find some decent carriers run under their authority, but the only ones that are hitting are all the scammers. Guys, the reason why I can't talk much about the carriers because I never dealt with them. All I hear about is how guys are getting their heads taken off. You got folk. The last time I spoke to someone who was running under a carrier, he said they were taking 30% off the top. That's a pretty big hit. There's another guy who has uploaded content here on YouTube, and they're taking 22% off the top. But he's running. He's out there, so he's okay with it. But I'm sure that at some point he's gonna want to do his own stuff. Let's see here. Got a tip on this. Filled up most of it and had to resend information. They will auto enroll you to the new entry program. That's true. Okay. And then if you also fill out something wrong, they will contact you by email and point out to you what you did wrong. And so then it may be multiple trips to get it done, but yes, you can do it yourself. You don't need somebody to do it. So anyway, I'm going on. It says carrier miles that you drove the previous year. Company operations. Interstate carrier. That's when you've got your MC. Hazmat, interstate, non-hazmat. Okay, so interstate is when you just have the DOT number. So that's when you're operating within your state. Interstate is when you go across state lines. And then interstate, hazmat, shipper, blah, blah, blah. So the one that you're more than likely to fill out are A and C, unless you do have your hazmat. That means hazardous material. Then the operation classifications. Authorized for hire is most likely what most of us are going to put mark. So that's A. Cargo classifications. The easiest one to put down is for general freight. If you're not hazmat certified, you don't have to do number 25. The next one, and this is one where I did a video and I explained where I made the mistake of putting in that my van was a straight truck, because some people refer to vans as trucks, Yeah, I mean the chassis of the van may be used for a fucking truck, but it's not, and the chassis of the van could be used for a box truck, but it's a van. It is not a straight truck. I put in there one, and then that's when DOT tried to reach out to me for a safety audit. So I had to come back. They told me that I had to fill out this form MCS 150 and put in there zero. And you're going to put zeros across, since if you're just operating a van, zero all the way across, zero across, zero across for term lease trip. Now, the reason why I'm doing this, because the person who had came back with questions asking about, I can't find where I would mark for like non for a van. Well, it says number of non-commercial motor vehicles, non-CMV, that will be operated in the U.S. Your Sprinter slash cargo van is considered non-commercial because more than likely its gross vehicle weight rating, GVWR, is 10,000 pounds and less. So you will mark there how many vans you have. I put one. Then is driver information. Within a 100-mile radius, beyond a 100-mile radius, interstate, interstate. If it's just you, and you know what your range of operations is going to be, if you're just doing within 100 miles, just put one, and then that's going to be total drivers. It says total commercial driver license drivers. You are to get a commercial driver's license when you are operating vehicles whose gross vehicle weight rating is 26,001 pounds or more. That's typically when you get the CDL. There are other qualifications for CDL, but that's just a quick hit. Is your US DOT number registration currently revoked by the FMCSA? You're going to put no. Passenger carrier certification, that doesn't apply. And then space 30 is about the names of the sole proprietor, partners, or officers and titles of your business operation. And then as Rig CH83 said about the wet signature, here's where you would sign, put your title, owner, proprietor, whatever, and date it. So that's your form MCS 150. I know that that's a lot of stuff there, but a lot of folk don't take the time out to explain that. Straight truck scenario had you confused. It was my comment and link that I sent that said it straight, so I deeply appreciate it. All right, there you go. Thank you. Again, I'm gonna put that link out there, so if you want to join the damn conversation with me, more than welcome. All right. So I'm gonna I'm gonna bring in the FMCSA. Damn it. There we go. All right. So what I'm gonna do is bring in my material on the FMCSA, and most of y'all got your information, but I'm still going to do this because it bears worth repeating. Okay. In fact, we're going to start here. What is the difference? According to the FMCSA, the difference between a commercial motor vehicle and a non-CMV. According to FMCSA, a commercial motor vehicle is defined as any motor vehicle used on highway and interstate commerce to transport property or passengers when the vehicle has a gross vehicle weight rating of 10,001 pounds or more. Is a single or combination of vehicles with a gross vehicle weight rating of 26,001 pounds or more. It is designed to transport more than 8 passengers, including the driver, for compensation, or more than 15 passengers if not receiving compensation for transportation, and any size vehicle that transports hazardous materials that require federal placarding. On the other hand, a non-commercial motor vehicle would not need to meet the above criteria. For example, if a vehicle where either the power unit alone or when combined with the trailer does not meet the minimum weight threshold of 10,001 pounds. So, some of y'all are familiar with your flatbeds where you see somebody in like a big pickup truck like a F-350. They've got that flatbed, so they got that flatbed hooked up to the back of the truck, and let's say that um, all that is less than 10,000 pounds. It would not be subject to FMCSA regulations. It may not be subject to being pulled over by DOT on the freeways. More than likely, that shit's going to be over 10,001 pounds, and so you better have a DOT number. You better have an MC number if need be, and it needs to be inspected and all that. Um, next thing, I want to pull up. Stop screen. Yeah, okay. This is one that everybody should know, at least in this particular audience, though, but I'm doing this for posterity. How do you get an operating authority or your MC number? Answer is if you have a US DOT number, you must complete the appropriate motor carrier operating authority forms and submit them to the FMCSA for processing. Read the instructions for the appropriate authorities to avoid errors. If you do not already have a US DOT number or other authority, you must begin the online registration via the Unified Registration System. This requires a credit card. There is a $300 fee for each operating authority requested. So, complete the carrier operating authority. Okay, I'm going into this, getting operating authority. So, operating authority is identified as MC Motor Carrier, FF Freight Forwarding, or MX for Mexico. Types of authority. Few types of authority. Shit. This is where it's like a rabbit hole. But in the FMCSA site, there's a number of different types of authorities that you can get or you can pay for, and there's $300 each. Typically, though, what you want to get is motor carrier property except household goods. That's really the one that you need to get. Alrighty. And then let's see here. Update US DOT number. Apply for US DOT number and or authority. And I showed this in that video. If you go through the Gig Geezer archive, where you file for this through the Unified Registration System, the URS, and this is where URS system should be used by first-time applicants only, those who do not have an existing US DOT number. If you're not sure you need a US DOT number, click here to find out. Do I need a US DOT number? Companies that operate commercial vehicles transporting passengers or hauling cargo in interstate commerce must be registered with the FMCSA and must have a US DOT number. Also, commercial interstate, in-state hazardous materials carriers who haul types and quantities requiring safety permit must register for US DOT number. So, basically, if you say yes to any of these three standard tests here, then you must need to apply for a US DOT number. So more than likely, if you're involved in interstate commerce, this is where you need the US DOT number. Between a place in a state and a place outside such state, including a place outside of the United States, between two places in a state through another state or a place outside of the United States, or between two places in a state as a part of trade, traffic, or transportation originating or terminating outside the state or the United States. That's why you need the US DOT number. Let's see here. Also on the MCS 150, where it says DBA, you should leave it blank if you don't have one. I put none, and they took that as your DBA. Yeah, leave it blank. That's right. And you have to, that's right, the 58.89. Well, yeah, that's right. For that type of a change, it does cost you money. I had to fill that out this year because I changed my suite number in the building where I have my office. What happened was last year I was asked to move to another office in the building because they needed that space where I was at. And so because I changed suite numbers, I had to fill out that 5889, but it didn't cost me anything to change an address or any contact information. It does not cost you. Let me see here if I have that form. If not, I'm gonna pull it up. Let's see. Bear with me here. I don't have it. I do not have it. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick here. Um, okay, here we go. Okay, so this is the form MCSA 5889. And I had to fill out all I had because all I was doing was changing suite numbers. I still had to fill this thing out. It's annoying, but I did what I had to do there. Let's see here. Okay. So anyway, that's the form there, almost complete, they say. And they charge you if there's certain things that if it's not for change of address or contact information, you got to pay for it. Use the Google Voice for MCS 150. Okay. Thank you. Keep it real, no hype, no filming yourself every stop, but explaining how everything really works. Yeah, that's what I try to do. I mean, as I've explained, um, A Train is that I have really and truly, I just got this here. This is my video source. This has been my video source all this time. And so and I've never invested into a GoPro, but I've told people, hey, look, if you want me to do what you're asking me to do, hey, contribute to a GoPro and I'll do it. And part A, when they say current name, they mean yeah, yeah, that's right. When it's the incorrect name, yeah. So you had to put none in there and then leave it blank. That's messed up, man. That's messed up because you put none. You had to fill that out and then in the next line put blank. Wow. All right. Let's see. What was the next thing? Uh, let's see that FMCSA. Oh, there it is. Okay, that's what I was. That's where I missed. That's where it was. Okay. Um. Okay, so we're about 45 minutes into this. I guess that is worth a laugh there, man. I mean, you had to put none, and then in the next line leave it blank. That's pretty good, and it costs you 14 fucking dollars to do that. Eh, That's I'm not gonna say that's an expensive error, but that's an annoying error. That's $14, man. That's a trip to Whataburger for me. I get two double meats for $14. I'll let you throw in the 50 cent. I think that's with the tax though. But anyway, and A Train, you know about Whataburger, man. In fact, first time I had Whataburger was when I came back home to Houston, and then I saw my family up in Fort Worth, and my cousin took me to Whataburger. And he said, "Man, now that you're back here in Texas, here's where you need to go." and I've been a fan of Whataburger since, and that's been over 40. That's been what 40 years now. First time I had Whataburger is 1985. 40 years. That's right. Anyway, um, anybody want to join the conversation? I keep throwing it out there. I guess folk don't want to join the conversation, or maybe you're not in a position to do so. But I think you can just participate just from your phone. Yeah. Well, believe it or not, Whataburger's here in South Carolina now. In fact, I've gone to two locations here in Columbia, and um, I've gone to one in Spartanburg. That's on the other side of the state. I've gone to Whataburger outside of Atlanta. Of course, I've been to Whataburger in Alabama. I've been to a Whataburger in Tallahassee, Florida, many decades ago, and of course, Texas. In fact, when I went to San Antonio, was my first brokered opportunity in San Antonio. I had my queen with me. I said, "Hey, we got to go here, Whataburger." Would I recommend using Google Voice as you get a ton of calls? Truth be said, that is, God damn it. Um, Truth be said, that's what I've used for like the last. Oh man, I've been using Google Voice for over a decade. I'm not going to tell you why and how I started using Google Voice, but I have been using it for a long time. And yes, it gives you a way of kind of screening phone calls because it doesn't come in direct. It's linked to your true cellular phone number. But yeah, that's a good way. Yeah. Um, yeah. Whataburger is. I'm not going to say they're looking for a national footprint, but they're making their way out there. God damn it! Here we go again. Have I thought about letting others run under my authority, or is the risk too high? Well, yes, I've given it a thought. I've given it thought in that if I were to ever really scale my operations though, but I've got this thing about trusting folk with my stuff. And if somebody gets in an accident, they get tickets, and that's gonna all come under my number, and that's gonna fuck up my rating, which may in turn fuck up my insurance rate. So um that's I've just not yet gotten to a point where I've been trusting of people to do something like that. So that you know, maybe in 5 years, I've talked about, I'd like to be in a position in 5 years where my money, my money start earning money for me, and at that point, I would have to trust people. I just have to be hopefully wise and smart with the people whom I am entrusting, if that makes any sense. Um, going back to going back to did I have I covered everything that I wanted to cover? I think so. All right, going back to some other stuff about spot rates and all. That's the other stuff that I had up that I wanted to share with y'all. Um, Most people, I don't know if these people are just blowing smoke up people's asses or not, though. But there's another source out here, and I'm just going to read the article, and you make the decision for yourself. I mean, sometimes you just have to make a decision for yourself on it. But ah, okay. Hopefully, okay. So here's the deal. This article comes from Transport Topics, and I think this is more of an inside. This is a trade publication, and so therefore they're going to they're going to kind of cater to their. I don't want to say that they're gonna say what people want to hear among them, but uh, but they're thinking that truck rates would increase by 2.2% on a full year basis in 2025, and by the end of the year, contract rates will rise by 5% year over year. So they should be 5% higher by if you compare from 2025 to 2024. That said, expectations are more subdued than a few months ago. In September, they thought that contract rates would rise by 3% in 2025. Um, they also expect spot rates to increase by 5.5 to 6% in 2025. This is actually down from a forecasted prediction of 6.5 to 75%. So they do concede that the growth rate is not especially robust, but it is certainly welcome from a carrier perspective, and certainly would be could be worse from a shipper perspective. So that's in a nutshell. So they're I guess here's the thing. When we're this is the way I try to do things. I try to keep a very realistic expectation as to um what's going on out there. If I'm having a really good month, I'm also thinking about that. Hey, yeah, I'm having a good month, but shit, next month could be really bad. Or another way I gauge things is how things are, how the money is being made. If the money is being made rather consistently, I would say that's a good month. But if I'm seeing this start stopping, or there's some moments of uncertainty, then I kind of temper the celebration. I kind of temper the victory laps, if you will, because um and I'm going to talk in terms of YouTube channel. A lot of folk when they present content is as if they're having a victory lap, and I s- I I just can't do the victory lap thing. I just can't. In fact, there are many big days that I've had in which only three people know about those big days. That's all I can tell you. I mean, in fact, I give you an example. Last month, January, I had 3 straight days in which I earned over $1,100. 3 straight days. I'm just not sharing it with y'all for the first time, but that stuff I just keep to my. For the by and large, I just keep to myself. But here's a question: do I have a map of regional rates? I heard Georgia is good, but Florida is not, or Texas is not, or Texas is better than Arizona. I heard the Midwest is not as good. I honestly searched for that type of information and I could not find it. And maybe because this is the first time that I actually tried to look for stuff like that. Um, there is there is a channel that I look at, and you may be familiar with it. It's a lady who does that stuff on a weekly basis, and she'll talk about the spot rates in all these different regions of the country. She'll tell you where the hot cities are and where not, capacities where they are and where they're not. Um, I, Trucking Made Simple, I think, is her channel. In fact, I'm gonna try to pull it up now. Oh yeah, Trucking Made Successful. That's who it is. Um, God damn it. Here we go again. All right. This is the channel. Trucking Made Successful. This lady does this like every week, like on Fridays. So look for her channel on Fridays, and I believe that she talks about those capacities and rates. And she'll talk from dry van to reefer and flatbeds. I'm gonna put that channel name out there. Trucking Made Simple. made successful. My bad. Now, hopefully, I'm not losing my train of thought here. The other reason why I don't share a lot of that stuff is because, um, quite honestly, it's not so much as my not worrying about what people think of me and all, but at the same time, I think people get tired of seeing shit like that. They really do. It actually creates. I mean, what ends up happening is that folk they see you doing what you're doing, and then they're looking forward to see you fail. That's. I mean, it's kind of it's kind of a twisted thought there, though. But um, you you put yourself when you put content out there like this, you're putting yourself out there for folk to see you, and it's kind of a it's kind of a compliment if you meet somebody in public who comes up to you and say, "Yeah, man, I've been checking out your content and all." Um, but I remember seeing one guy who was just, I mean, he it's like he couldn't miss. It seemed like he just could not fucking miss. And I remember one week he crowed about having hit 2 Gs in a week. I hadn't done it though and all, but this guy he ain't hitting on nothing now. He ain't hitting on nothing. But I know that there are people who were cheering for him, but then there are people who cheer for your failure. And so um I just rather not put a lot of things out there. I just feel that I'm going to be true to myself and put out there what I believe is going to help folk. That's what I'm getting at. And so what I put out there, what I've noticed, it doesn't get a lot of views. You would think that I get a lot of views for the subscribers, but I will tell you this: I had this one big run of people who where the channel was pushed out by YouTube algorithm, and there was one particular video that got over 200 that's gotten now over 250,000 views. I've not had any video that had that many type views since. I've had some that hit over 10,000, but by and large a lot of what I do just doesn't get in front of a lot of people. And if I was out here for the clicks, if I was out here for the clicks, then I would put stuff out there for what people want to hear. And um I'd have to live with that. But anyway, um yeah, people, yeah, you're right. The haters do, and but to some you give hope. Yeah, you're right. But I'm gonna start winding it down. Hopefully, y'all got something out of this week's I'm speaking. Um, hopefully, what I've shared with you will equip you to understand things down the road. That's the other thing. One thing I'll say: when I came out and started documenting what I've done in the delivery transport space with a Sprinter slash cargo van, I realized that, hey, year 3 for me is where the rubber is really got to meet the road. And what I mean by that is the first year is kind of like in sports. You have the rookie season, everything seems to just go real good. You get rookie of the year and you earn a lot of honors and all. And then the second year is when actually what happens is the league then caught up with you, and now you really gotta show what you know and what you learn. Last year was kind of like that, in that I almost from a gross earnings standpoint almost equaled what I did from 2023. But when I start thinking about the longevity of business, year 3 is where the rubber must meet the road. I've got to really apply what I've learned the previous 2 years, and see if I can try to um, move on, scale business, expand, whatever I'm going to do. And so that's why I've been sharing about what I want to do is build up the cash game. And, I'm making small strides. It's still a work in progress because really what really true is happening is that I'm not devoting enough time as I should for the cash game. I've got a cash game opportunity, a small cash game opportunity tomorrow morning. But it could be like where I have multiple cash game opportunities. I just haven't done that. I just haven't devoted enough time. Some days it reminds me of being an insurance agent where I get out there and beat the pavement and had to knock on doors to find business. And that's what happens when you're doing the cash game operation where you're building up, really you're selling yourself. You got to knock on those doors, and you got to be willing to knock on the doors. You got to be committed to knock on the doors. I'm committed and willing, but I just haven't had the time because really and truly what happens is that I still got to make money every day. So, that's on me. What does the cash game means? That which you that those opportunities and services that you render, and the compensation is cash. That's what it means. Hopefully you get what I'm saying there. Really, it's what is it's the type of stuff that you do where you get cash. It's just that it's more the personal thing. Like, and it could what could happen. What starts off as cash game could end up being like a truly legitimate operation. So what I'm saying is, let's say that you're into the delivery and transport space, but you see where you can use your van for something else, like pressure washing. So that's your side gig. So you do pressure washing on the side. You kind of fill the gap with your main thing you still feel is delivery and transport. So that may be for cash. And at some point it could be that that becomes your main gig, and delivery and transport may be then over time your side gig. So another example then for me is um 2016, 2017, insurance was my main source of income. Now I just keep my licensing with insurance, and I every now and then I do something. In fact, I spoke with a customer today. Excuse me. Um JT, yes, you are late, man. I'm about to shut it down. I'm about to shut it down, but thanks for coming through here, man. Sydney, man, thanks for coming through here tonight. Hopefully I run into you in town, man. A train, so you see exactly what I'm talking about. But anyway, I was gonna finish my thought, and then we'll shut it down. Again, insurance was my main thing. 2017, as late as 2017, that was where I made most of my money. Now, insurance is just me keeping a license. In fact, the office, my office, I keep for tax purposes. Is more so a tax write off. Every now and then, I go to the office, but I do have stuff. I do have mail that goes there, so I stop by and check on any mail slid under the door. Anyway, that's enough there. But y'all, hey, I'm about to shut it down. Hopefully, we'll have an actual guest next week. Um, the funny thing about it is you reach out to folk, but they don't get back with you. And I get that. I mean, you see an email, you may see an email, you may not see an email. Um, Thanks for the live stream. Yes, I'm glad that I caught it today. Hey man, thanks for just stopping through here. So y'all, um, hopefully, the rest of your week you'll make some money, and hopefully, we'll have another conversation next week with someone or with you. And with that, may your hustle, may your grind continue.